It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, June 3rd, and I am back from Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, and I left my voice there. I went to Disney, and all I got was this, just an empty voice box. And I feel, you know what, honestly, I'm like, what's the Disney princess that loses her? I'm Ariel. I'm Ariel, and Ursula took my voice. We'll just blame it on Blake Lively. I honestly think we can blame it on Blake Lively, but the good news is I can always call someone that likes to talk a lot. And there are other people out there that like to talk more than me, believe it or not. It's shocking. It's hard to find, but there is one person on the internet that can talk even more than me. And his name is Bobby Sauce. Take naps on Instagram. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Well, glad to be back.
I am so glad that you're here because literally I woke up this morning and it was, I mean, now it's 11:30 here in LA. I woke up at like 6:30 and I was like, I literally this has never happened to me this bad. And I don't feel sick. I worked out. I went to Starbucks. I got one of those, like, you know, they're called medicine balls.
I don't, but I believe it.
It's like a whole tea concoction. It's like off the secret menu.
I'm not that well versed in Starbucks lore. I think the coffee tastes burnt, so I don't really like to go there personally.
Oh, are you on that side of TikTok?
No, I'm on that side of the human experience. I don't know what you. I think I've heard that they actually make it burnt on purpose. That's like part of their like brand, their signature flavor. I don't like it. I think it's hot garbage. Personally,
it's hot. It's
garbage.
Definitely hot.
Hot garbage.
You know, I do Starbucks just because the mobile order. Like, it's the convenience of the mobile order that makes it great. Just like In-N-Out, we're here in LA and this side of town, you don't or this side of the country, I should say. My kids love In-N-Out, and half the reason we never go, I mean, we go, half the reason we don't go as often is it's such a pain in the ass. The line is so long. If it's easy to get, easy to order, you got me.
Yeah, it doesn't. I feel like it kind of comes with the territory of Los Angeles, California in general, is that you're like obligated to just deal with bad things. It's like homeless bumbles, high taxes, burnt coffee.
Gavin Newsom. Oh, Gavin Newsom. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Here we go. I'm going to get the hate right now.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about the people. They're like, who is this idiot? I love Starbucks.
Oh my God, Bobby. So I am so excited you're here because I know that you're not like so well versed in Blake Lively, but we have to talk about Blake Lively before we get into Karen Reed because we've just got to check it out because something huge happened yesterday while I was at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I sent you the article.
Yes.
And luckily, I also subscribe to Daily Mail Plus because I'm one of those sickos.
Correct.
And do you subscribe to Daily Mail Plus?
I think you know the answer to that. I'm not subscribing to Daily Mail Plus. I don't subscribe to any pluses. I generally feel like if it's behind a paywall, it's not for me. And especially if like I think that some of the articles are good on Daily Mail. I think the headlines are very long and hilarious, but I don't subscribe to it. But I was able to find the article elsewhere, so I know the details of the case. And like we detailed in our last conversation, I happen to be well versed in toxic women, unfortunately. So I kind of got the picture, you know.
So let me ask you a quick question before we get into it. What is your news of choice? Like when you wake up in the morning and you scroll, do you go to the news? Do you trust legacy media, or are you like that? Or are you like me?
No, I definitely don't trust legacy media, and I think if you consider yourself to be on the, generally speaking, conservative, libertarian, and or right side of politics, you've come to learn that it's so often lies. But I do consume, I think, a wide breadth of different types of information because sometimes I'll go to CNN to get my stories because I know that they're wrong. So like I'll go to CNN and I'll see what's the headline of the day. I'll read whatever it is that they have to say. Then I'll start seeking the alternative view on it, and I'll realize that it actually is written from a place of bias, or it's wrong for these reasons. So I do consume a wide variety of things. But I will say this, and for the last 4 years while Biden was the president, I felt like,
oh God, don't get too political because people are going to get really mad at me.
I'm just giving context. I'm just giving context to my answer is that when he was president, because I consider myself to be a person on the, like I said, on the conservative right, libertarian, whatever you want to call it. I found it to be like we were taking L after L every day when I looked at the news. So I didn't really pay as much attention to politics because it was depressing. Now that I feel like we kind of have a better approach to governance, which is, it's not perfect, but it's a little bit better. I do look at political content most of the time. However, for the last month and a half, it's been a welcome reprieve to focus exclusively on the Karen Reed trial. The second I wake up, I put the trial on. And really, like 95% of what I consume right now is Karen Reed related.
I just don't pay attention so much to politics at all these days. I'm very like niche focused. My obsessions, my passions are Blake Lively, Karen Reed, Jews. Those are my buckets. Blake
Yeah.
Lively, Karen Reed, Jews. And I like to stay in those buckets.
I'm most interested of anything in financial and economic markets. So like I love the stock market. I love investing in the stock market. I love business and how business flows, like in the macro. So the political stuff is kind of like a supplement to understanding financial markets. I like knowing what tricksters are doing and how what they do influences the economy and financial markets. So that's really why I spend a lot of time in politics, is because I want to know how it will affect businesses. I don't just like love eating, sleeping, breathing politics. I think it's really toxic, but I like to see how it affects the financial market. So that's kind of why I play there. And I think it's funny because of how insane it is. It's kind of like the Karen Reed trial. It's like, it's laughably stupid consistently, and it makes for some good jokes in addition to providing some value for how I invest.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I mean, the money stuff is really wild, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around. Every day, I feel like there's these really scary articles about how we're coming up into like the end of the world, and then every day it's like everything's great, and then you never really know. I just like to make sure that I have enough money to keep my kids in school, and I can still continue to provide my kid a bar mitzvah by the end of the year. So let's hope for that.
Yeah.
That's why we keep the lights on over here at Daily Dose of Donna. Speaking of, this is a great time to mention that today's episode is brought to you by Hers Hair. This is a good time to mention my sponsor. Yesterday I wasn't here because I was at Disneyland, so I didn't have the time to tell you guys about Hers. But I'll tell you something. I was at Disneyland yesterday, and you would love this because you like a toxic woman. Bobby, let me ask you a question.
Unfortunately.
What is the one thing that you like in a woman's physical appearance? Do you like thicker, full hair?
Wait,
On her head.
wait. That's
On her head.
That's a compound question. Are you asking specifically about hair, or are you asking specifically about what I like in a woman physically?
Do you like nice, beautiful hair on a woman's head?
Yeah.
Work with me because this is my sponsor.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know that I would use the word thick personally. I don't know. I don't know that I mean, that reminds me of that Seinfeld quote where George says he's looking for thick, lustrous hair. If anybody's a Seinfeld fan out there, but I wouldn't describe thickness. I wouldn't describe thick as the hair attribute. I suppose I would notice if it was like dry looking, but thickness is not really in my vocabulary for hair, I don't think. But I guess it's good since hers likes it.
Well, I'm telling you, women like nice, thick. They don't want thin, stringy hair.
Yeah, well, that's what I see. I don't understand the female hair other than if it like looks healthy or not. I'm not stringiness. I would consider to be moisture related, not thickness related. But then again, what do I know?
Well, luckily, whatever you say is working because people are liking you. Okay. Mildly Mercurial says, "God damn, I love Bobby."
Hell
well,
yeah.
I can just tell you guys, with Hers Hair, you can get thicker, fuller hair and maybe date Bobby in just 3 to 6 months. So let's be honest, nothing boosts confidence quite like great hair. But if you're seeing more strands in the shower, your confidence might not be at its highest. And that's why you need Hers Hair. Thinning hair is something no one wants to deal with, but actually doing something about it can be stressful. With so many products out there, it can be confusing on what actually works. Enter Hers Hair. Hers Hair Treatments are made with doctor-trusted prescription ingredients that many other hair products out there don't have. They come in a variety of options, including oral and topical solutions. You can find one that works for you. All you have to do is a simple online hair quiz, answer some questions, and you'll be connected with a provider. It's 100% online. You can get thicker, fuller, healthier hair and start seeing regrowth in as little as 3 to 6 months. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/daily dose. That's forhers.com/daily dose for your personalized hair loss treatment options. forhers.com/daily dose. Individual results may vary. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. So people know your Seinfeld joke here. It says, could you get your hand out of the hair? Because Stanza.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I think you'll be able to get it out. Like,
oh my God, I love it.
Do you like a rosy cheek? Or what does it say? A hue? Do you like a hue?
Oh my God, you guys, men love to quote Seinfeld. That's like a thing.
Yeah, I think for the young, I don't know. Am I young? I don't know. I'm 38. I think it was a huge part of my childhood. It's like, I think the people that like, let's just say, I guess you could say comedy sitcoms, for example, they usually tend to fall on the side of Friends or Seinfeld. And for men, Seinfeld certainly hits a lot more. So yeah, it was a huge part. I think I've watched every episode of Seinfeld at least probably 3 times.
That's so funny. I love it. It's a feel good show. It's one of those shows, whenever it's on, it does make you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Speaking of not feeling good, Blake Lively did not feel good, but now I think she feels better because apparently Blake Lively is healed.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. One thing you should know when you start a fight is, well, I should say this. Don't start a fight, especially in the legal case, unless you're 100% sure, not even 200% sure that you can win.
Yeah.
And Blake Lively, and we've said this now from the beginning, when she started this whole drama in December, I don't think she ever thought Justin Baldoni would fight back because there's so many mistakes that have been made already. There were like redacted text messages and mistakes and lies, et cetera, et cetera. I think she thought she was just going to throw it out there. This guy sexually harassed me. He totally ruined my life. And then Justin was going to lay down dying, and that was it. Kind of like John O'Keefe's body in the snow. The problem is, the problem is that Blake, Justin was like, F no, I'm not taking this lying down.
Yep.
And now it's all coming to light. And you mentioned the lawyer, Peter.
Yep.
He tweeted even about this. He said, you can't expect to say that you've suffered emotional damages and not bring evidence of this.
Yeah.
In the court.
Especially when you have a lot of money and resources and a legal team that could give you counsel on this before you bring something forward. Like if you were, I can't even speak for you, but if I was to just bring some legal case at a person, I would hope that somebody would maybe tell me, like a buddy or something, but I don't have a legal team. So for her to think that she was just going to get away with that is like really laughable and funny. And it's like, I guess if you're just like a toxic person, you bring toxic people around you. So how nobody could actually bring that forward. And since I am now a legal expert and not a lawyer, but a legal expert now because I watched
we all
the
are.
Retrial. Yeah, I'm literally a legal expert. I will not be hired, but I am an expert now. I read the article.
You probably will be hired on Hank Brennan's next team. Because
I know. I'm doing closing arguments. No, but I saw that she wanted the case dismissed without prejudice, and because Alessi just tried to get a mistrial in the Karen Reed trial today with prejudice. Of course, I had to gaggle what prejudice means because I am a legal expert.
I did too.
I want to stay sharp. So without prejudice means that she could bring it again. So it's like, not only did she withdraw it, but she wants to withdraw it in such a way where she could bring it again. It's like, listen, psycho demon, like, you're attractive. We're all admitting that. You get the toxic validation from me. I know how to see it, but like, you're literally a demon. Like, how could you pull it away at this very crucial time and like besmirch this dude and then want to potentially bring it again in the future. It's like, I think she has dumpster people around. I think she has Starbucks coffee for counsel, personally.
I don't think she listens to those around her. We've talked about this with so many different people. I don't believe that Blake and Ryan, because I put her and her husband in the same bucket. I don't believe that they take advice from those around them unless truly they just surround themselves with idiots.
Yeah.
But every single thing that they've done, whether it's been in a public relations sense or in a legal sense, has not been the right move. So something's amiss. I don't know exactly what it is. Now, I want to show you. Well, let's go through this Daily Mail Plus article, which, by the way, earlier someone said that there's a website, removepaywall.com, which this is a great tip. And I can't believe I didn't think about this before I subscribed to Daily Mail Plus. If you go to removepaywall.com and then put the URL of the website with the paywall, it will just remove it. You can read it. So like whether it's New York Times, which is garbage. I don't like the New York Times. But any of those paywall, you can read it without a paywall.
Sounds illegal. I mean, that's cool, but I wonder if that really works. Maybe.
Well, I didn't. I just heard about it. I didn't create it. This is allegedly.
I declare a mistrial, and you and you stating this unequivocally.
I mean, Hank Brennan told me. Hank Brennan told us. Yeah. So it says the truth about Blake Lively's therapy notes and why she really dropped the bombshell claim. So this is edited today, but she said that she sought to withdraw the claim to streamline. That's why she's saying that she sought to withdraw it. But now she's denying that it was due to unwillingness to share medical records. Her lawyers branded the suggestion because, of course, Baldoni's lawyer said, well, obviously she's trying to remove it because she doesn't want to show us her medical records. But her lawyers are saying, oh, that's ridiculous. No way. She's just trying to streamline the case.
Yeah,
please.
Right. Yeah, that's very unbelievable. That's very not likely. Would you consider that to be thick, lustrous hair? Well, just to pull it back?
I don't think
Is that thick?
Okay. I don't think any woman wants Blake Lively's hair.
Because of who it's on or because of how it is?
So Blake Lively's hair is a big topic in our life.
Oh, is it really?
Only because she has a hair care line.
Oh.
And it's a big issue. And it's a big problem for this case because she says that because of this movie and because of this lawsuit and because of this, what she calls a smear campaign, her hair care line has failed. But the problem is her hair care line allegedly does horribly because it doesn't do it. There's no conditioner, in which you don't have a woman's head of hair. Obviously, you didn't even know what thick hair is. But allegedly, it makes your hair really frizzy. So Blake Lively's hair, if you Google it, which you should try to do one time,
okay,
you'll see that like she has an issue. She has, I'm going to try to find you a clip. This is what Blake Lively's hair looks like, just like on the norm. Which is really like, imagine trying to put your hand through that hair.
Yeah, that would get stuck. The girl whose hair on the right is very nice.
Yeah, Blake goes to it and then ruins it.
Look at the back. It's looking scrumbly. It looks like she's wearing what she wore. Looks like she went like a one night stand and like she just came straight to work the next day. It's like all right in the front, but scrumbled in the back.
It looks like, you know what it looks like?
What's the
JBF
dress,
hair.
What's
you know
dress?
what JBF hair is?
I do not. No.
Jess Bin.
Oh, fudged?
Sure.
Yeah. First of all,
fudged.
Okay, no, that makes sense. It does look like that. Also, I hate her dress. I'm not like a fashion, but I hate her dress so much. It's terrible.
Blake Lively does not have a good fashion sense. This is a very established part of this world as well.
You want to know? This is just my opinion, whatever, obviously, but like as a human man, biological man, assigned male at birth, or however you want to phrase it, don't have to make anybody angry, but as a human man, really, I think the most important thing in any woman is the smile, how they smile, and the rest of the things they can only take away. So it's like even if I hate your dress, it's like if you got the smile, and I think that's why she is so pretty is because of her smile.
Ew.
You can have dumpster hair and all this stuff. Like that jacket is stupid too. I hate all of it. It's all garbage. But the smile, toxic
It's
or
all
not,
about
it's a
her
good smile.
smile.
The smile is a big thing, especially for a joke maker, like myself. If I'm like making jokes and I'm not a fan of the smile. But like imagine like if you have a great smile and you just have like scrumbly hair or like clothes or whatever, like those things can be fixed in time, You could get some
Yeah.
hers and fix your hair. You could get a stylist or just, you know what I mean? Or just wear like aloe yoga clothes and then like can't really go
Hello,
wrong with
yoga.
that. Isn't that what it's called? Or aloe? I don't even know.
It is. No,
Oh,
you're
okay.
right. You're right. This is interesting that this is going to fix Blake life. Listen, she's going to need your
Yes.
help. She won't take your advice,
I will
but
help. I will assist. Like if you want to connect me, and since I'm a legal expert, perhaps I can provide some counsel to these
she
idiots.
she won't take it though. That's the problem.
She'll take
And
it.
maybe Alan Jackson can help her at some point.
He better not.
So of course they were going back and forth. Lively's lawyers is saying that, he's made it worse and worse and worse. But anyway, she was trying to get out of it and saying without prejudice.
Yeah.
Prejudice.
Prejudice? No, it's
How do you
dis.
say it?
Prejudice. Come on now. Aren't we the legal team that everybody needs? You don't even know that it's
Yeah,
prejudice.
but I need Siri to tell me how to pronounce things.
It's prejudice for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna
Final
be like
answer.
Officer Buchanan and be like, English is my third language.
Yeah, he's like, you just said it 40 seconds ago, you nerd. I hate that guy. That guy's a Lego head. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
So, so they were going back and forth, and essentially they were Lively was hoping that the judge would dismiss the claims of, because Baldoni was saying we're going to compel the medical records regardless, and Blake Lively was hoping that they were going to allow it so that she could withdraw the claims and then refile again later on after discovery is over.
Uh-huh.
She was trying to basically pull out of allowing her medical records to show. I want to know what were in these therapy records, if she even went to therapy.
First of all, she probably didn't. But if she did, she's probably like, why do I feel bad that my husband forced my son to say that he was gonna like
Daughter.
throat some old man or whatever
Daughter.
on some movie set. Yeah, and then blackmailed her or whatever, like threatened her to say it or she'd get kicked off the case. Like, why do I feel like such a demon on the inside? That's what I.
Or maybe she was like, I don't know why, but I can't help but feel sexually attracted to this man.
Yes. Wait, what
Be
man?
that.
Wait, which man? Oh, the kid?
Baldoni. No, Baldoni.
Oh, I was like, what? What are we
Not
doing?
her-
I was like, pardon? Sorry, I got lost
It's
there.
possible. It's possible that there was that. Anyway,
'cause-
they went back and forth and back and forth. Now,
Because
Baldoni-
Baldoni has the attributes that Ryan Reynolds probably does not have.
no shit.
Yeah, so, like-
manliness.
Yeah, like just like not being like a squirrely weasel, like a weasel type.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
I mean,
my
I
Ryan
don't.
Reynolds.
I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I can't imagine that's desirable. And it's like I'll be honest with you, as a like I said, as a human man, I can only judge based on whatever. If I was to look at the two of them standing next to each other, like Ryan Reynolds versus Baldoni standing next to each other, I would assume that more people would find Ryan Reynolds attractive, even though they both are obviously they're Hollywood movie stars, whatever. I would say that Ryan Reynolds' like stature is probably more attractive. I don't know, but like when it seems to their character, it seems like you would immediately realize that Baldoni is clearly like a better dude objectively. So, and
You
I know
think
that
Ryan Reynolds is traditionally more handsome than Justin Baldoni?
I don't know about I don't know what you mean by traditional, but
Well,
do you
that's
mean
what
by
you just said.
Did
That
I
more
s-
women would look at Ryan Reynolds and think he was more handsome than Justin Baldoni.
I object. I did not say traditional, but yeah, I would assume that that's the case.
Objection.
Isn't he taller?
Did you not just say in the court of law on the witness stand with your own words? I have it right here. I
Yeah.
wrote it right down.
Yes. Sidebar.
Sidebar.
I
Judge
don't
and I
know.
approach.
I mean maybe it's a familiarity thing. Like I didn't know who Justin Baldoni was until the movie. So
Yeah.
maybe it's because I've seen Ryan Reynolds since I was like a kid. I watched what's it called? The movie where he was like in college for 10 years, Van Wilder. So maybe that's why.
Like Shannon Burgess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's Shannon Burgess. So maybe that's why. Maybe it's a familiarity thing. But no, I would assume that people would find Ryan Reynolds more attractive. Personally, I don't know, but I would assume that they would. They're
I
both
think the
obviously very good-looking
I think
guys,
you're
but
thinking of the old Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds had a trajectory where he was so handsome, so charismatic, so talented. Even going back to Wrexham season 1, I remember watching that with my husband and saying like, "Oh my god, Lance, Ryan Reynolds is like." I mean, this is weird to say to Lance, my husband, but like I was like, Ryan Reynolds is like a perfect man. He's talented, he's handsome, he's so successful. He's got his hands in 5,000 things.
yeah.
He's got a beautiful wife. He's got 4 kids. Like, is there anything this man can't do? And I even remember thinking to myself, Blake Lively is so lucky to be married to such a man. Like, wow, they really have this like perfect life.
Yeah.
This is kind of where I was, whatever year that was, 2021, 22, whatever. Now, and it's partially because of just everything that's come out with this trial, but also physically, he has aged so badly in the last year or two, probably a lot because of the stress of this. He looks like a different human being.
Oh, okay.
Have
See,
you not seen?
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
tuning
pull
into
something
like
up.
Ryan Reynolds lore, but
You're
so
not
no.
following Ryan Reynolds
I
on
think
the day to day?
here's the other thing. Like I said to you last time, is like I think that if you were to break it down to like just the bones of it, like I still do think that Blake Lively is like objectively like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Like
Okay.
if you did her hair and did her dress or did her clothes or whatever it was, I still think, and maybe that's why. Maybe he rose some stock in my very limited playbook of like which men are attractive because of that. Because like I do think that she is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Yeah, he looks like Snard Barkley in that one. He looks kind of like a snerd. He's like looks like he looks like he owns like a library or something, like a small library
So the way
that
that it
fails.
works, I really think you were just saying like smile is so important. Don't you
Yeah.
agree that personality really changes the way that you see people once you
Yeah, of
get to
course.
know who they are? So this is a man that not only, and this movie really, I mean, this case has really shown us who this man is, but in this case, you really see like in the complaint, not only does he go around and tell people at multiple parties, including Justin Baldoni's agency, multiple people, he is a sexual predator. He starts spreading the word that Justin Baldoni is a sexual predator, which is horrible for Justin, right? But then not only that, he wrote a letter that he wrote a letter and gave it to WME in Justin's words. Said, I want Justin to like release this letter saying Justin should take like responsibility and accountability for how badly everything went on set. Using Justin's own verbiage, using Justin's words that he uses in his own books, etc. Like he's a sick man, I think.
Yeah, if you're a grown man writing a letter just like in general, unless it's to like your woman, you can't be writing letters. You got to be like lifting weights and like accomplishing tasks. You can't be writing letters, and you certainly can't be writing a letter like on behalf of another adult man. It's Poindexter. It's Poindexter behavior. It's soy in the vein.
Poindexter.
It's soy in the veins behavior. He doesn't deserve Blake. Maybe she could change her ways. I can fix her.
Man, you are a Blake apologist. This is a problem.
I'm not an apologist. I just like the smile. I'm just saying the smile is A1. Just
You are like, you know what? You are dangerous because you like the toxic woman. So what
I don't
happens is you're going to be the next guy that's going to get taken advantage of by Blake Lively
I don't
because you're going to
like
say yes to do a movie and she's going to call you a sexual predator.
if she asked me to do a movie, I would take the risk. No, look, I don't like it. I'm self-aware enough to understand my foibles, the errors in my past behavior. This is something that I'm improving on over time. And I'm just going to say, as a person who's well versed in this specific thing, that has occurred by accident.
Look at my dosers coming at you.
I'm a simp. First of all, you can't call somebody a simp if you don't even know how to conjugate your correctly. So
Oh,
you lose.
don't come after a shopaholic.
I don't even know who that is, but that's thick hair. That's thick, luscious hair. First of all, you can't try to dog me and call me a simp if you can't even spell your correctly. But anyways, I digress. I'm definitely not a simp.
We're
I just
you
think
guys.
she's beautiful.
The goal here is we're turning Bobby. Okay, we're gonna turn him. We're gonna
Turn him.
teach him the ways.
Turn me what?
The point is, oh my God, you know what? The people are really intense in comments
I
about
can't.
Blake. Like people are very, very, very angry about Blake. So you cannot show any sympathy towards her in the shows.
I don't have any sympathy. Again, it's like
No, I'm not standing up for them or you. I'm
you
just
better
showing
not.
you that
I can't see the comments this time for some reason. It says that they're not. I can't see them.
on the top right.
Yeah, it just I said to show. Oh, okay, there it is. All right. Well, anyways, I'm
But now you
just
see that people
now
are
I s-
not happy with you.
well, you can't you can't fix them all. I don't know. Look, if I got into this business, as it were, caring whether or not Sledge said I'm a simp, like I don't care. Yeah, yeah, okay, I'm a simp. Fine. Who's more of a simp, me or you watching the simp? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think I win on that one
Please,
again.
we have to stop. Bobby,
I
come
can't
back.
come for their throat. I gotta relax.
Bobby,
Look, she's
you
got a
got
beautiful
to.
smile. If you're a human man and you don't think she has a beautiful smile, I don't know what to tell you. That certainly doesn't make me a simp because I think she's beautiful. But whatever.
Well, listen, you guys, we have to remember that Bobby is a peer and he may be on the jury, not him, but another man that has eyes. And so this is what we're going to deal with. A lot of people are coming in blind to the story and they're just learning about it, but we're teaching him the ways. Everyone calm down. Okay, we need to get back into the actual case.
People are.
Oh my
sorry.
God, I'm like panicked.
People are like, yeah, people are definitely freaking out. Like I'm
You're
a joke.
freaking out because you think she's pretty. It's like wild.
I'm a joke maker. I'm just making jokes. I still do think she's pretty though. You guys can
You
go.
can do. Okay,
you
stop
guys-
saying that.
Whatever.
You
It's
can
true.
You
It's
can
true.
do, Bobby. You can do something else. You can also,
Be like,
you can also. Here's what you should do. You should just do what Blake Lively does. She always says, "LOL," just joking. LOL after everything she says.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what you can just say. Just joking. It's a joke.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's move
Just
on
joking.
to what the judge has ruled on this because Judge Lyman is not thinking with his lower nether regions like you are.
I'm not-
Hopefully.
I'm being besmirched on this. You're besmirching me. Like I got hit. I'm thinking with my lower nether regions, kind of like John O'Keefe didn't break anything in his nether regions by the car, like is normally common for a car accident. Anyways, I'm gonna pull out of that one. We can go back to the case.
Don't worry, I'm with you. Listen, I don't agree with a lot of things you say. You know, I give you shit in your DMs about a lot of things that you post about.
Yeah.
And I think this is healthy to not agree, but we agree on the Karen Reed thing. We'll get there in a second. But Judge Lyman has issued, according to Daily Mail, this is literally how they write it. They say Judge Lyman, well, Blake Lively suffers a huge blow, hopefully a blow dry for her hair because she needs a better blow dry as judge issues devastating ruling in case against Justin Baldoni. I love how they make it so you know, dramatic.
Yeah.
So dramatic. She suffered another courtroom blow in her ongoing legal battle with Justin Baldoni after a New York judge threw a curveball in her attempt to withdraw her emotional distress claims against the actor. It says Lively's team. Okay, yes, she pulled her emotional distress with Baldoni's team demanding she provide proof, but Lively's team instead attempted to quietly drop that element. Lawsuit on Friday, but critically without prejudice, meaning the claim could be refiled. In a letter filed on Monday, Lively argued that she voluntarily sought to withdraw the claim in good faith to streamline the dispute and filed a motion to block Baldoni's request for her medical records. But Judge Lyman on Tuesday today agreed to deny Baldoni's demands for her medical records based on Lively's decision to drop the claims. However, he also ruled that both sides will now have to negotiate whether her emotional distress element will be dismissed from the case permanently. He also said that even if the claims are not dismissed, Lively's team will not longer be able to produce evidence of emotional distress in court. So it's basically saying she can't have it both ways. You can't claim that you're having emotional distress and pull the records, etc.
Yeah.
So it's all good. I think it's a win. And here's your boyfriend, Ryan Reynolds, walking down the streets of New York looking squirrely.
He does look
And
squirrely.
and here is our boyfriend, Justin Baldoni, because if you're a doser, you have to be Team Justin.
Look, again, to set the record straight, I'm not well versed on modern day Ryan Reynolds lore. I haven't seen a Ryan Reynolds movie other than Deadpool, and he was wearing like an outfit the whole time and face makeup and stuff. So I don't even really know what he looks like. I didn't know he looked like Snart Barkley. I agree with what you're saying now. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Van Wilder. I'm thinking of Van Wilder.
You're thinking of
Ryan
old school.
Reynolds. Yeah, because I'm not
Yeah,
like
he used
tuned
to be
in.
a looking guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he younger than him? How old is Baldoni?
He's younger.
How old is Ryan Reynolds? He's got to
He's
be
an
like,
old fart.
he's got to be close to like.
Oh, whoops! I lost you. I took you off. I left you. I was like, I was done with you.
You're like dismissed without prejudice, or with prejudice, or whatever.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Literally, people are so intense about this case. It's really crazy. You know, I was talking to my friend Zach Peter. Zach is he's a content creator and he talks about this story all the time. And he had some lawyers on his show, these great lawyers, and they're attorneys and they talk about this case from an attorney standpoint. And they guested on his show once where they covered one of Blake Lively's attorney's moves in a way that was like basically not against Blake Lively. Like it was saying what her attorneys did that they thought was like a good move.
Uh-huh.
The amount of anger and hate that these attorneys got was unreal. Like people are so immersed and invested in these cases. It's the same with Karen Reed.
Yeah.
That they cannot see anything positive about either. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The side that they don't agree with at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things that I kind of learned when I started talking about politics, which is something that I talk about the most, is that like generally speaking, you can't let your opinions be swayed by the disposition of the people, so to speak. It's like you have your statement, you stick with your statement no matter how many people yell. And that consistency, whether people agree with you or not, over time proves the level of your character, that if you say a thing, you're willing to stand behind the thing. So like all the people contributing, it's like, yeah, good on those attorneys for saying what they believe to be the truth, even though people are freaking out. And I do agree with you about the bias. Like if you see it one side, you can only see it that way. But good on them for saying what they believed was the truth, because people will trust them more even if they disagree on the next issue, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hear sometimes when you hear like the take that you don't want to hear. It is hard to hear. It's hard for me too. But it's crazy how like closed off some people get, and then they throw vitriol and they like they literally like start throwing anger and hate and like bad reviews, and like it gets really nasty. So we always have to remember, like, I just think in general, like it's okay to have a difference of opinion. Sometimes it's okay.
Yes. Correct.
But anyway, so let's talk about the updates in the Karen Reed case, because that's really what I'm so obsessed with right now. I mean, I am so heavily obsessed with that. I was driving to Disneyland yesterday and I was listening to it in the car. We had like an hour drive, and it was it was the Proctor's friend. So Michael Proctor, why don't you, if you don't mind, just so I can take a little voice break, why don't you explain yesterday morning's testimony? So first, it was Michael Proctor's friend. So what happened in that?
So because I'm a legal expert, as I alluded to before in great detail, as I have learned in my years of legal study, is that in order to introduce evidence into court, you have to have a person that is directly involved in that evidence that can testify on its behalf. So short of calling Michael Proctor themselves, the defense called a person that happened to be on the text message chain with Proctor. I think there was like 13 people on this chain. It was
that many?
I think it was 13 or so, at least 9. It was like 9 to 13
Do you
people.
have a group chat with high school friends with 13 guys on it?
I do not. No.
A lot of men have these big men group chats. I see it on the Bravo shows that we watch.
Yeah. One of the things that decided to do many years ago that ended up working in my favor is that I have a Samsung. I do not have an iPhone, so I do not get to participate in these aforementioned group chats. And then turns out over time, even though so many people tried to guilt me for not having one, you're out of the loop. What it actually saved me from is a bunch of useless group chats that I have to check all the time. So I communicate directly with the people that I want to communicate with. And I'm often in group chats around a specific event. Like if there's a bachelor party coming up, or if if a bachelor party is coming up in a couple weeks, we will chat in there. Then we might chat for a couple months after, and then it goes away. But I don't have like long-standing group chats with anybody. I don't really like group chats personally. I'm sure other guys have
Well,
them, but I
especially
don't.
when you're an investigator and they come up in court. What was he thinking texting this kind of shit in a group chat with 13 high school friends? This is what I don't understand.
Well, it's because when you get to a level of, let's just call it, power, you start to believe that you're invincible, and what you do becomes more and more brazen. And it's kind of like same thing as like Blake Lively. It's like if you've experienced all this objective success over a consistent period of time, and you're outwardly, objectively, to the general public, succeeding in every way. It's like, I can do no wrong. I hit only home runs. I could just do whatever I want. So it's like this guy probably engaged in a multitude of different corrupt things over the course of his career, where it got to the point where he felt that he was so insulated that it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't reveal explicit details of a case that you were the primary investigator on it and risk your entire career and ultimately your pension and really your opinion in the public square of really the entire planet now, to say some stupid stuff in a group chat, unless you felt so invincible because you had gotten away with a multitude of different things over the course of much time. So I would wager that he's probably been doing this for a very long time and never got caught. And that's why he felt comfortable firing off stupid texts in the group chat.
It's unreal. It's such an entitlement. This guy literally, and what was so crazy, and I got my husband into the case yesterday because I was listening to it just with like shock. And then he put it in an AirPod and we were both listening to it. He kind of knows like moments of it. So he's listening to it and he's just in shock because I said, he goes, how long after like the body was found was he texting this? I said, this is the same day that John O'Keefe's body was found, wasn't it? That he
Yeah,
started texting all this shit.
it spanned over a couple days, but I believe that everything that was mentioned in the trial was like within 5 to 7 days after. They were like,
It's like
they were like, the
he was
girl's gonna get.
convinced that she did it. He was convinced it was not the cop. Like there was no questions.
Yeah, and and look, again, of course we have bias or whatever because we've been paying attention and we've kind of like chosen our side because there's been a million things to help us to lead us to that conclusion. But like if you look at it as just a normal person, the way that he's saying the stuff so early on in the investigation, whether you believe or not, it's like irrefutable evidence. It's like the guy's like, no, the guy's not going to catch any shit because he's a Boston cop. Okay, that's pretty. And then they're like, then they said, one of the guys said in the thing, he's like, it sounds fishy or something like that. He said something along the lines of like, it sounds suspect, like how he died. And he was like, yeah, we're not going to be able to prove this thing. And he was like, but she's going to catch like a lot of heat of it. Like they're going to throw the book at her because they want answers quickly. And it's like, if this guy has drawn this conclusion so early and then all of his investigation, subsequently that precedes that or follows that, you can see that he went out of his way to not investigate this stuff. So that in and of itself is so troubling. But I think that this guy is probably a grade A scumbag. And I would wager that a lot of these Canton police officers and detectives and stuff, I bet they've done this a million times. I've heard people talk about the Sandra Birchmore case, and I would bet there's a multitude of other different things. So they've been getting away with this. Like, here's another thing that just came up this morning that I thought was kind of interesting. Alessi was freaking out because they found the pig DNA on the hull of John O'Keefe's. Sure. And I was thinking to myself, and I didn't have a chance to research it right before we got on here, but it's like, in the event that you were a detective for 30 years and you had custody of the clothing, which was clearly not taken care of, clearly not taken DNA swabs or anything were taken in a timely fashion. You had them for weeks before they even went in. In the event that you were trying to cover up dog DNA, for example, Is it possible that they know that pig DNA perhaps cancels it out or would stay on there longer? Could they have grabbed some bacon or something like that and swabbed it in there themselves in the weeks that they had to put it there? Would they know that only that would be able to show up? This is the type of information that a 30+ year detective times 3, 4, 5 people would know in order to cover these things up. And they had more than enough time and agency and ability and opportunity to do it. So it's like if you're going to tell me that you believe Karen Read is guilty, please explain to me how a taillight, amongst a million other things, can shred your arm up, but then also create a perfect puncture hole in that arm. And then pig DNA is there. It's like, there might as well be ostrich DNA. Like, why is that there? And to think that there's nothing shady going on here, considering just that specific evidence alone, like, you're insane, dude.
Was the pig DNA, number one, we'll get into this DNA issue that happened today, but was the pig DNA found on the clothes or on his body?
It was found on the hole,
in
puncture
the
hole
clothes.
In the clothes. But here's another
that's
thing.
Bullshit.
They
had clothes for weeks.
Right. When I had a big dog, what did he eat all the time? Pig ears?
Eat pig ears and pig food and pork.
Yeah. And like I said, it's like, I would bet, and like, my new resource is ChatGPT. I love it. I bet if you put into
Grok.
Okay, that's fine. I bet if you put into how dare you? I bet if you put into ChatGPT, like some type of prompt that was something along the lines of like, how long does pig DNA last on clothing versus human DNA or whatever? Is pig DNA more powerful? I bet you could find a way that something that a detective would know, that's like, hey, if we just put some bacon grease or rub a pig ear and dump it in here, that it'll override or whatever, cancel out whatever other DNA is detectable, like dog DNA. Or pig DNA could be from the dog anyways, and the dog DNA could have deteriorated over time during the custody of those garments.
Did you search that?
I didn't have a chance to. Yeah, I just thought of it before when I was watching the trial just now, right before we got on.
Well, what would be the question? Let's search it together. Let's go to. We're going to do Grok just because it's up here on my window.
Okay.
What's the question?
I would say, could you use pig DNA to cover up some other type of DNA, perhaps?
Another type of animal DNA?
I would just say another type of DNA.
It isn't feasible in a practical or scientific sense. However, I can interpret your question as asking whether pig DNA could be used to obscure, replace, or interfere with the detection.
Okay.
If you're trying to obscure human DNA at a crime scene, adding pig DNA might contaminate a sample, making analysis more complex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, it's somewhere down this line. And like, this was just a theory that I came up with, where it's like, why is there pig DNA?
Yeah, pig is so random.
It's so random. And it's like, unless you, like, as far as I could see, like, I wonder what John ate at the waterfall or whatever they were. But it's like, it's highly unlikely that it splashed or touched that specific part of his clothes. So it's like, to me, it just seems too suspect. The only thing that I would connect pig DNA with would be the mouth of a big dog that you have to keep busy in the garage while he waits to murder your friend, allegedly, or, from a pig ear, or some type of intentional placement to obscure and or cover up something else.
The real issue is that he had the clothes for 6 weeks?
Right.
I think it was 6 weeks before it was turned over. I mean, this is 100% the problem.
Well, here's the other thing. Let's say that, I'm no expert I am a legal expert, as we all know, but I am no expert in DNA or whatever, or detective work. But here's a question. If you were going to cover up DNA that existed on this specific hole and you had 6 weeks to do it, if you were to remove all trace DNA from that hole, wouldn't that be more suspect than if there was some DNA? So in the event that you removed it and there was a hole there and there was no DNA evidence of any kind,
you have to put something.
Right. Unless you say, oh, it got tore by the taillight, in which case the pig DNA doesn't matter. So it's like, would you place something there so that there was something? I don't
Well,
know.
it kind of reminds me of that hair.
Yeah, like you got to be stupid. Like, look, this is the thing. There are 95 million things in this case that I feel like you'd have to be an idiot. And it's like, I don't have a dog in this fight. Like, I don't know Karen Reed from a hole in the wall a month ago. I just saw something that I perceived to be a great injustice. But it's like, all this stuff doesn't add up to such a degree that it's just like I hate you if you actually think that this could be possible. One of the things I found so fascinating, aside from the hair on the bumper, which is preposterous in and of itself, but the glass that was on the bumper. So there's broken glass on the bumper of the car. Karen hits John, allegedly. She drives home in a snowstorm. Then she drives back to Jen McCabe's house. Then she drives back to John O'Keefe's house. Then she drives back to 34 Fairview. Then she goes to the hospital. Then she goes back to her house. Then she drives 30 minutes away to her parents' house the next day or whatever. And then they get her car. Then they take that on a flatbed in high winds 30 minutes in the other direction to the Canton Police Department, and the glass is still sitting on the bumper. How is that possible?
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But this glass
And the
is
hair.
so I know, it's crazy. And the glass is so microscopic, too.
There's no way that a hair or glass would remain for that distance. Not to mention the fact that the car was getting snowed on. So what happens when you have a car that has snow on it and you put it in a garage? I don't care how cold it is outside. The snow will melt inside the garage. No garage is under 32 degrees unless you're in frickin' Wisconsin or something. And even so, even then, or Canada. So the garage is going to warm it up in and of itself. So it's like the snow is sitting on the car. It melts and comes down the car. It's pooled in water. And then you're driving on the highway. Like, it's absolutely unfathomable to think that that glass would be there. And it is even more unbelievable to think that that hair would be there. So if you believe either of those two things, and then one of the things that I think it was Alessi asked, he's like, was it difficult to remove the glass from the bumper? And she was like, no, I just grabbed it with the tweezers. Was it difficult to remove the hair? No, I just grabbed it from a tweezer. It wasn't stuck in a chunk of ice. It wasn't frozen.
It was just hanging. It was just like
there.
floating.
Yeah, which means that you could have gone, and it would have fallen off.
But driving through torrential winds didn't.
Yes. Like,
none of it makes sense. So Billy has a question here, and this is an interesting question, not to know if any of us have the answer, but I doubt this is going to ever happen. When Karen gets acquitted, because I think and I hope that she does, what would happen with all these corrupt people that were most likely involved in this cover-up?
what was the question again? What
when and if Karen does get acquitted, what would happen with all these other people that are involved in this somewhat of a cover-up? Because all signs are pointing to the fact that at least the Alberts, the McCabes, the Higgins, they're involved. Their fingers are definitely involved.
Yeah. Even though I have an extensive legal background, covered many cases over many years, I would say that the probability that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts will pursue an investigation against them is probably very low. I think the fact that they purposely didn't investigate certain things that would have been damning evidence is very suspect. Mm-hmm. If there were to be a case where they are held accountable in any way, I do believe that it would have to be a federal investigation. It would have to be the FBI. And look, here's the other thing. It's like, I don't traditionally believe in a lot of our three-letter agencies, but I will say this. Attention is a mother when it comes to things that can damage the public's view of institutions. Therefore, in the event that this Karen Reed trial continues to pick up steam and gas, thanks to people like us in our own small little way, I've been watching this trial sometimes on Court TV YouTube. There's 35,000 people watching this trial live on one YouTube channel. So you're talking like primetime TV watching these people argue in this courtroom in a very small town in Massachusetts. That's very explosive. So I would wager that the more attention that people like us continue to pour fuel on the fire of this case and get more people interested in, the more likelihood that it would be damaging to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as well as the local police department, as well as to really the three-letter agencies as a whole. And trust in institutions, when threatened, is generally bad and can have other can have other repercussions. So I would say that like the 3-letter agencies would have to investigate it. And if the FBI was to look at like, let's say the 5 pieces of DNA that are on John's shoes, or the 4 pieces of trace DNA that are on some of his clothing items that are obviously not all him, I bet if you were to look into all those things, because they're male DNA as well, and then go and actually obtain the DNA of Higgins, of all the Albert family people, of Colin Albert, I bet there would be a much more substantial case. But I believe that they likely have to sit on the sidelines while all of this transpires before they actually do something. But I would think that it's actually more unlikely. It's more unlikely than likely that they are not paying attention to what's going on here. That's kind of a double negative. I think it's highly likely that the FBI is likely paying attention to what's going on in this case, specifically because of the attention of so many people, not so much because of the imperfections and perceived corruption of it.
Well, also they were involved. I mean, they spoke to Jen
Yeah.
McCabe early on, and she lied to them.
Yes.
Ooh, that's another thing. Early on in the trial, when one of the people who was a witness admitted lying to the FBI, not admitted. I mean, we found out that she had lied to the FBI. Robin brings up something interesting. Odd for me, if he was hit and broke the taillight, why are no shards or trace pieces not embedded in his skin?
Correct.
I had a car wreck and picked microscopic pieces of glass out of my scalp for weeks. Well, all that broke out of this apparent 24 mile per hour hit, which is not 24 miles per hour is fast. Like that is not a slow speed. 24 miles per hour is a fast speed.
Yes.
And all that apparently got injured on this car was one taillight.
Correct.
Which is wild considering it hit a 200-pound object.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I just hit a little small hitch on the back of a stationary batting cage, and my car is fucked. Like the fact that all that hit on this Lexus is a small taillight is already so weird. There's no other major dents or damage in the car. Weird. But also the guy did not break a bone.
Right.
He flew, as Alan Jackson says, pirouetted,
Yep.
flew upside down, this, that, has scrapes and cuts and bone and pieces all over, eye injuries and the back of his head injuries. And obviously his arm is all cut up. But he has no glass embedded anywhere into his skin.
He has no, and a taillight is not glass. It's like
It's plastic.
It's right. So it's like, first of all, the plastic had to shatter, which they did, which Judd the Chud, as referred to by Turtle Boy, the accident reconstruction guy, he didn't measure the amount of force that would be needed to actually break a taillight. So then, if it breaks the taillight, well, where does it go? It goes into the taillight, right? Because you're breaking into an empty space. Okay, so then it goes in there and it's broken. Well, how is it going to shred your arm unless it's stuck to a thing? Like if I were to break something off, it would have to have a stationary piece in order to shred my skin a long ways. So in order for it to do that, it would be the remaining pieces of taillight that are still attached to the taillight that would be doing the shredding, because the rest would just collapse into the thing. And if it was so far that it was able to crash through that plastic, it would also hit the metal and the car behind it. So that's improbable. There's no blood on the taillight anywhere, yet there's blood all over his arm. There's no blood anywhere on the taillight. There's no blood on the taillight pieces. There's no skin on the taillight pieces. There's no taillight pieces on his body. There's pieces that were found on his clothes because these demons held custody of him and threw him on the floor at the thing for all that time. And it's highly likely that they threw the light pieces into the bag with the clothing to begin with. So it's like that part of it is completely null and void. It's highly improbable.
And there was no blood on the clothes, huh?
There's blood. There is some blood, I believe, on his clothes, but I don't know how much there is.
I'm confused on that part.
There has to be blood on his clothes because if the dog bit his arm and it obviously was all red, there's got to be blood there. I just don't know how much or where it is. But there certainly is not enough blood for him to bleed out of the back of his head from what they found on the lawn. So
it's just so interesting that this is the one piece. Now, Penny, I'm curious. Penny says, I was hit by a truck. That's crazy, by the way. There was no damage to it at all.
Yeah.
I had no broken bones, just destroyed discs in my spine. Okay, how fast was the truck going? Where did you get hit? What part of the truck? And how fast was it going? Because that's all it matters. If the car was, if they're saying that the car moved at 2 miles per hour, just like the Blue Man guy last week with his arm, and this happened, that's one story. But they were saying 24 miles per hour, and he was just standing there stationary.
It is absolutely insane to think that somebody would go 24 miles an hour in reverse in the dark after drinking in front of a house that they never been to and in front of a curved road in the snow with cars behind it. Like, that's insane. And one of the things that I think is like casually just being kind of left out of all this is just like, cars in a brand new snowstorm is probably when the road is like almost the most slick. So it's like the car is measuring the speed of the tires, not necessarily measuring the speed that the car is actually traveling. You can't prove that. So if you're drunk, for example, you're more willing to compress the brake or compress the gas a lot faster or harder than you would typically, especially if you're mad because you think your boyfriend is inside clapping Jen McCabe's cheeks or whatever she thought he was doing. So it's like, in the event that you press the pedal too fast and it spun the tires out, that would say you're going 30 miles an hour or whatever, 24 miles an hour. But like whether or not she actually traveled that, I think is improbable.
Now let's move on to the fact, okay, so we had Proctor's texts read and they were wild and they were so inappropriate. Yeah. And they call Karen the C word. They say that she's got no ass, that they're looking for nudes on her phone. This is the lead investigator. This is so disgusting. Then they say, he says something about her having a leaky bottom. I'm very confused.
Yeah, he said she has a leaky balloon knot. Leaks
What
poo.
does that mean? And say it nicely.
A balloon knot is it's a dirt star. It's a brown eye. It's a butthole. A balloon knot. Like if you know a balloon when you look at the knot.
I get it.
Okay, then what are you asking?
What does that mean?
What is a leaky balloon knot?
What does that mean?
She
like has diarrhea?
I think that one of the complications of MS is probably like lack of muscle control. So she probably has accidents from time to time.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah.
They were making fun of the fact that she like can't hold her poop in.
Yeah.
That's really, really, really gross and sad.
Yeah.
And then she has to sit there with her parents and her brother and like listen to this guy reading those texts. Like it's so effed.
What I actually thought was pretty awesome, which is why like Karen Reed is just like the undisputed GOAT, is like one of the things she said is she's like, I'm not even embarrassed that they're saying that about myself. She's like, I'm more embarrassed for them that they have to know, like that people know that they said that about another person that you're investigating in this trial. Like, she's like, I'm literally not, it doesn't even embarrass me anymore. And like, look, maybe she's just saying that or whatever, but I do think that is the appropriate statement.
Well, the truth is, it is kind of more embarrassing for Proctor and the guys that are laughing at it. I would be more embarrassed for her about her text messages with Higgins.
Yeah. But like
flirty text messages.
Yeah. Look, no one is suggesting that Karen Reed is the best person or that you would necessarily want to be friends with her. That's not what's on trial here. And like, it's kind of, it's sketchy. It's not great that she's like flirting with Higgins, but like, look, I would wager that like most females probably at some point in their life have wanted some attention one way or the other and have gotten it from a, maybe not the best source just because they wanted the attention. And I'm sure men do the same thing.
I'll never forget. What did he say? You giving me the ghost? You giving me the ghost? And then they also say on Proctor's text messages, it's like, is she a smoke? Is she the smoke? That's how they talk. Is she a smoke?
Because these dudes are like maldeveloped in like understanding game. Like they have no game at all. Like Higgins is just like a chode. He's like a chode as a person, and he probably has a chode, and he like flirts like a chode. He just like big chode vibes. I just get
so.
He's got big chode energy.
BCE. So I'm assuming that's how you spell chode, right? CHODE. I don't even know how to spell it.
CHODE, yeah, chode.
That's the name of the show. Big chode energy with Bobby Sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. You are officially, according to my earlier segment on Blake Lively, people think you have big chode energy.
That's
So,
dark. You could. Why would I use that as an insult if I was just like a chode haver? You know what I mean? That'd be like very. That'd be tactical. I didn't think that far. It's not like I planned saying the chode comment. I just think about Higgins and I'm like, this dude is a chode. He like flirts like a chode. He feel like he's like, do you want? He's like, I don't know. Do you want to get a drink? It's like she just said you want to get a drink, you idiot. Like, dude,
why do you like me? Do you like me? 1 to 100.
I want the real deal. What you sipping on? Yo, this dude sucks. It's like, go meet her for a drink, you idiot. I don't know.
Tell me more. Tell me more. What about your relationship? Are you looking for something serious?
Do you like me? Yo, shut up. He's like,
Circle
no,
yes
you
or
hang up.
no.
Yeah. He's just like a soggy. He's just like a soggy. He's just like a soggy. Like he's like he's like I'm fun. He's like I drink in my house. It's like sick, dude. You know?
Look at my cup. It's got whiskey in it.
Yeah, yeah. I love whiskey. It's like sick, dude. I don't know. He's just like a loser type.
What do you think happened when she came over to his house that one night and then she got the ick? Like, I still want to know what happened that night. He probably showed her his chode.
I don't. I think she could just tell by like looking at him. Yeah, I mean, I don't
He
think
probably showed her. Oh, I have an idea. He probably was like, Karen, I want to show you something, and I don't show a lot of people this. This is my Dungeons and Dragons collection.
that would be funny, but I don't even think he's smart enough for Dungeons and Dragons. I think that he would do something. I think that he would be like one of those types of guys that like they would like show you things that they would think would impress you that like would only turn you off. And I bet like the decor in his house is just like really funny. Like I bet he has like really funny decor, like they got a poster on the wall, you know, like a movie poster, but it's like in a poster form. He didn't even frame it, and he's like,
Yes,
yeah, he's like, yeah, I
posters.
love Pulp Fiction. It's like,
Oh my God,
sick.
for sure. He is The Godfather, Pulp Fiction, and Casino posters on his wall with no frames. And he's
Yeah.
like, you don't like these movies?
Yeah, yeah, like
Al
he has no,
Pacino's my hero.
yeah, yeah, like he has no bed frame. Like there's just like weird. There's got to be like something.
Sure.
There's got to be like weird, you know, like I don't know. I just feel like I feel like he would really try to be like one of the cool guys, but like it would have no appeal to her like in any way. Like he would be drinking a beer or something when she got there, and he wouldn't like offer her a beer. Like just like stupid small mistakes where he would be like saying things like I remember one in the text. It was like he's like, oh, text me when you get here. It's like, no, dude. Just she's coming now. Just look out the window. Like she'll be there in a minute. Like you don't need to her to text you. Just she's gonna be there. Oh,
Oh my God, I can totally imagine it. He like never has women over at his house. 100% no bed frame, and he's like, I just got a new beanbag. You want to try it out?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like he would like use stupid ways to like either like sit closer to her or would like make dumb comments about the stuff in his house that he would like think are cool that she would be like, yeah, like the types of things that like a college kid would say to a girl when like, you know what I mean? Like he's like in the begin. Look, every guy's been there. I've been there, dude. Like
Yeah, when you're 24.
Yeah, I get it. But it's like eventually I was like, I should probably frame this photo. You know, like I have this thing on the wall. I should probably frame that. And then there's like all these colors, and I'm like, these colors are not really doing me any favors. You know, it's like, oh, I should probably like, I don't know, like little things. Like I should probably have like hand towels in the bathroom that are like folded. You know what I mean? Like in soap. And like, I don't know. I just bet like he makes a lot of those types of errors where she's like, dude, this guy's a sloppy mess. And like John, for all intents and purposes, was like a respectable cat that was in a lot of ways like empathetic. He hung out with his nieces and nephews. Like
Well, he was like a dad.
yeah, everybody said that he was like a great man of deserving of great respect. So it's like I would bet Higgins was like, it's like going to the frat house.
Yeah, that's 100% the vibe I got too. And John, you know, like they always said how John was really clean and like never wanted people to wear shoes in his house, and that was like an obsession of his, like take off your shoes before you walk in.
Yeah.
So if that's the kind of person he was, you know, he was probably really organized and really like a clean freak. And those are the things that like you don't realize you really like about a person, and then you go to another guy's house and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And she probably went to his house and she was like, what the hell? She
Yeah.
missed John.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So back to, I just want to pull up one clip. Yesterday was the most insane witness I have ever seen, ever. This officer,
Beaver.
Dever. What's her first name?
Dumpster. I don't know.
Dumpster Dever.
Garbanzo beans. Trash merchant.
Okay, so it was. Hold on.
Carol, I'm in Boston. I totally see the Higgins vibe in guys here. Yeah, I think like in general.
Carol messaged me yesterday. She sent me pictures yesterday because she went to 34 Fairview. And she said, Carol, write it in the comments here. She went to 34 Fairview and she said, we tried to do a 3-point turn. And there's like no way unless you're up on the curb. It's such a tight street, she said. It's crazy.
Yeah, which is why Lucky, the snowplow driver, was able to see all the way up to the steps in the front yard when he drove by 3 times.
I know. It's insane. Okay, so this Dever girl, she was from the moment, and actually it's funny, on Friday she came in, the judge brought her in and said, just to tell her, you're going to have to come back on Monday. It was weird. And when she came in for just 2 minutes, you could tell her attitude already. When she came on the stand yesterday, I was like, in 2 seconds, I was like, something's wrong with her. She has an attitude like something you've never seen. Kelly's her name. You've never seen anything like it. In 5 seconds, I always say I used to be a casting director. I can read people's energy, but you don't have to be like a smart person to recognize that she was covering up, lying, and cold and mean and like, right? In 2 seconds, you could feel it, right?
Yes. Well, because the way that I perceived it is like, if you're a woman on the Boston police force, I would imagine that you're already in a tremendous minority. If you're new on the Boston police force, been there less than a couple of years, even more so. Like, imagine the dogging that goes on of like rookie cops. They're like, shut up, Rook. Like, I would imagine you get the garbage shifts and whatever. So being like a woman, and like she's not a bad looking gal. So like being like a moderately decent looking woman on the Boston police force, you got to like really prove and earn your stripes. So I would wager that she was like, I'm going to go in there and be as combative as I can to show the boys that I'm with them, that I will defend them, that I will whatever. And I think that her combativeness was basically her like sticking up for, what she perceives that they would interpret as like sticking it to them. Like, oh, these scumbag, LA defense attorneys are trying to, incriminate 2 of our own, like go in there and give them hell. So I would wager that was an act that she was putting on specifically for them, and it ended up like blowing up in her face.
I think that she did such an incredibly horrible job at whatever she did, because I think that one goal, no matter what you do on the stand, is even if you're trying to prove a point, I think your goal somewhat is to be believable and to be, believable.
Likable.
But whenever you have that attitude and that coldness, I think immediately you're going to be dismissed as questionable.
Yeah.
No?
Her testimony was like Higgins when Karen Reed got to his house. It was just like, I don't like this. I just don't like how any of this is going. That's I think how any person would have read that, whether you agree with the prosecution or not.
So like there's a couple really, really crazy moments. Here's a little bit of it. I'm going to show you. It all got crazy, but just her face.
Oh, yeah.
Just her face was so intense.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Officer Dever, did you go on to say in that interview, quote, you never saw them leave, them being Brian Higgins and Chief Ken Berkowitz. You never saw them leave, but you recalled thinking to yourself that they were in the Sallyport for a wildly long time together in there, end quote. Did you say that?
That was my recollection of the time.
Okay.
So yes.
Have you ever heard of by the way, you indicated under questioning by Mr. Brennan that you knew what they wanted from me, meaning the defense, what they wanted from me. You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
You remember on that phone call that we read directly from the exact same report that I just read from? Remember that?
And I told you the same thing then.
That's not my
Yes.
question.
Objection. Sustained.
My question is, just answer my question.
Oh, he was
Deborah.
getting so pissed.
Did we
She's-
read to you, were you read the exact same thing that I just read to you on that phone call?
Like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
Beaver.
So the answer is I don't remember. No comments.
More than that, Judge. I think we all.
All right, so no comments, just questions, please.
She's
Yeah.
such a bitch.
I know. She's stuck in her masculine. That's why she has to
Do
be
you
a dude
recall
all
us telling
day.
you that
Yeah.
we were looking for the truth about your
Objection.
comments?
I'm going to allow it.
That we were looking for the truth.
Which I gave you. Yes.
Did you also say on that phone call something to the effect of, I know you're going to tear me a new one because I'm changing my testimony?
Changing, no. But you're trying to do that.
Did you say, I know you're going to tear me a new one?
That's what you're trying to do. So yes.
Actually, what you said was, you're going to tear me a new asshole.
I don't recall that. So that's putting words in my mouth.
I'm not asking you to put words in your mouth. I'm asking you if you remember saying that during that phone call. Oh,
I don't
I know
recall.
you're going to tear me a new asshole.
I don't recall.
Okay. But
It's
you
the
do remember saying
condescending
something to the
rolling her
effect of,
eyes
I know
too,
you're going
which
to
is
tear me a new.
crazy. Now I wonder if this has the last few minutes of the test of when she says, "My job."
Anybody, did you?
No.
So when you
When she says,
protecting,
I have no one
No.
to protect.
do you need to protect anybody?
No.
okay, at the end of I don't have it here, but at the end of her testimony, she says to what's his name? Brennan. She says, "My job depends on what I say here on the stand."
Yeah.
And Alan Jackson just takes it one more time and he goes, "Did you just say?" And he says it really loud. And at this point, I'm in line at Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, at Rise of the Resistance, Star Wars. So I was like really feeling it. I was
Yeah.
like in the mode. I was in a cave or something. And I don't know where I am in Star Wars, but like, you know.
Yeah.
And Alan Jackson like just gets really, really intense. And he's like, "Did you say your job depends on what you say on the stand?" Like whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, she is literally lying left and right. She told the FBI. Didn't she tell the FBI or something already? Or the feds? I don't know. That's what they kept saying.
I believe that's what it was. Yeah.
Or they can't say it's the feds.
Yeah, they can't.
Why
Yeah.
can't they?
I don't know. I don't know, but I believe it would imply that there's I would believe that it would imply that there's more depth to the case than the case that's being presented, and it would probably influence the jury to further believe in guilt. In the
Got
event.
it.
That's what I would imagine. Like if the FBI is involved, it means that this case is specifically inadequate, so much so that it had to be elevated to some higher up, and it would sway the case one way or the other. I would imagine.
Got it.
That's what I would. imagine.
So anyway, she's basically like she's just withdrawing her statements. You don't come up with a statement saying I saw two people in the Sally Port and then be like, "Whoops, it was a memory I just made up. I forgot." But I thought the craziest part was the fact that the commissioner brought her into his office.
Yeah,
as a rookie.
a very detailed account that happens to uniquely coincide with the details of the case. It's like Higgins was involved. The police chief guy or whatever was the guy that drove by the house when it was raining days later and spotted a piece of taillight sitting in the snow in a rainstorm because he was just driving by. So it's like, yeah,
Just
okay.
happened to be.
Right. So it's like that guy and Higgins were the two guys. So it's like that would make sense that was actually the case. And then it's like you go as far as giving this detailed thing. Because here's the other thing. If you're a police officer giving an account of what other police officers do to another law enforcement agency, then you know that you're implicating them in and of itself, especially if you use the language that's used. I didn't see them leave. They were in there for a ridiculously long amount of time or whatever they said. It's like she knew that she was implicating them right on the spot. So the only reason that you wouldn't The only reason that you would actually say that, something that detailed, is because you were afraid that you were going to get in trouble for lying about it in the moment. So you would give a very detailed, truthful account about what happened, even if it implicated those fellow officers, because you were more afraid of what was going to happen to you as a result. She's like, I can't lie to these guys. So it's like, then the police chief calls you in his office, and it's like, he could have said a lot of things, much like I could say to you something like this. I could say, you know, I really don't want you to bring forth these salacious details, but I want you to tell the truth. But I do know where you live, so good luck. Or I could just be like, yeah, it would really would be a shame if you happen to bring those details for. Like, you don't have to say a thing to say a thing. And the implication when you get called to the commissioner's office or whatever, in and of itself says everything that needs to be said. Like, if you walk in there and it's like, hey, we're going to support you either way, but do the right thing. It's just like,
crazy.
You know what he's saying. So it's like, to go and withdraw it, I don't know, man. It's so specific of a testimony. And like, one of the things that lawyer, pointed out, which I think is important, and I think has a point on this, is it's just like, in the event that it's true, that the time actually didn't align, it's like, what if it didn't? It's like, can we prove that this time did align? So it's like, yes, it's a specific testimony, but does it just detract from the overall formula of what we actually thought happened? Is this piece of information that crucial to the piecework of the case? And it's like, if the purpose of this case is not necessarily to map out conspiracy, but rather to prove that an accident didn't happen, it's like, does this really lend any more credibility than all the other details does? So it's like, is it more of a distraction than not? But I think her attitude is what everybody's going to remember, more so than her specific testimony, which to people like us that are very tuned in, it seems right on spot with, what we would expect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, today we had or yesterday and today we have this Dr. Russell who is testifying. Basically, she's like an expert in dog bites. She's got a thing for dogs.
She loves dogs.
Who knew? Who knew it's like a niche thing. Guys, there's a lid for every pot.
I love her. I would trust my life in her hands. I would trust the life of every person I love and care for in that woman's hands. Like, she just seems so likable. Did you see when that Damon Brennan asked her about memory issues this morning? Did you watch the trial? She was like,
it was so mean.
She was like, she like gasped. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I want to find that little clip asking Russell about memory, right? It was so mean. He was like, do you have memory issues? What is the issue with him?
It's to his credit, to be fair, it is a fair question for what he's trying to obtain. So it's like, yeah, okay. Like, but the inference is like, well, she's older, therefore. But it's like, all those other idiots were old too. It's like the brain surgeon was probably her age as well, or very similar in age to her, but nobody seemed to question him. So it's like,
I think, what's interesting, I do wonder why she did drive to the court with Alessi this morning.
I don't know the specific details of how that goes, but like, if you are intentionally trying to not appear like you're being coached or whatever, then that's probably not a good look.
I don't like, so like that bothers me because he gets so excited. He's like, oh, you were in the car with Alessi. What were you guys talking about? Clearly you were talking about something. Da, 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 da. I didn't like that. It made me, it freaks me out that like, he's trying to go on that. But she seems like a very smart person. He says to her, are you, you've never testified in the court of law about dogs. You've never testified about dog bites. You've never testified. Okay, well, there's a first time for everything. She clearly knows about dog bites. If anyone knows about dogs, it's her.
Yes. Well, one of the things that I thought was, I think that like both of the sides make decent points from time to time, but like one of the things where I thought he really blew it was when he was like, oh, have you ever taken like a course specifically in like dog bite something or other? And she's like, that doesn't exist. Like, that doesn't exist. Like, there's no course material specifically about like abrasions from like dog bites. She's like, there's like thousands of different types of different abrasions that you could get. And like, that doesn't exist. Like,
yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. I'd like to believe that when it comes down to the specifics of this stuff, that like a lot of these things will be lost in the shuffle, and that like the things that will stick, the things that we'll remember are like the 8 details that are just like so explosive. So I think that like when you get really granular about all these little things, it's like none of these things are really moving a person one way or the other. But like the demeanor of Deaver, that demon, whatever. She's not a demon. Maybe she's not a demon. Maybe she just sucks. But her demeanor is like, that's all they're going to remember from what she said. Like
she was just one of the most cold, unlikable people. So many have been cold and unlikable on their side.
Well, especially when she said, I have no idea why I'm here. It's like
what?
It's like you completely blasted your credibility, because you do have an idea why you're there. You know that you gave the original testimony. You know that you took a statement about it. Like, you've been interviewed multiple times as it relates to this. You work at Canton PD. You were working the day of the thing. You went on and stayed overtime while they were investigating this specific event. Like, obviously, you know why you're here. It's like it's not like she was the janitor.
Her attitude. I know her attitude. It makes it sound like she works in Alabama. So why am I here? She says. It's like, what do you mean? You're so involved in this case. I mean, it's not like you're a random YouTuber.
Right. And you went to the commissioner's office specifically for your testimony. So it's not like they just called you and you're like, yeah, I'll be there at 8. It's like, it was more than well detailed why you're there. So like, you completely blow your trustworthiness out of the water.
Yeah. Here, watch, check this out. This is where she talks about it. Hold on. Oh my gosh, where was it? It was just here. Hold on.
It was the one of them on top, her on top.
There.
Yeah.
Do you want to be here today, ma'am?
I am put on the stand in a murder trial. I don't know why I'm here. I have no connection to this case.
You have no idea why you're here?
You've never talked to me. Nobody on the fence seems to talk to me since prior to the first trial. So I don't have any idea why I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know why you're here, Bobby?
I know why I'm here, but I saw somebody in the comments before where somebody did not know why I'm here.
I did see that.
They're like, I don't know why she likes this idiot.
I saw that. I saw that. And
I don't know.
I didn't delete it, but I was like, whatever. We're going to allow it constant. I get that all the time. I go on my friends' shows and they're always like, oh, you have annoying Donna here again. Oh, no, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So people don't like me either.
No, I don't care. It's just funny. It's like, so, all right, let me ask you, why do you like me? Why do you have me here?
Okay, Higgins.
Gas me up. Why do you like me?
Yes or no, circle.
Yeah. Do you want to come over? I don't know.
No, you have great takes on Karen Reed. If you guys you should follow Take Naps over on Instagram. He has great takes on Karen Reed. That's actually how I found you, because you somehow got like reposted or something.
Yeah.
But a lot of my followers have been following you for years, because I guess you do all these like viral things about all kinds of things. You cover like a bunch of things, right?
Politics and the economy. Yeah.
Politics and the economy, but you just jumped on Karen Reed randomly because it took your interest.
I do some, I guess you could say, like popular cultural stories if I feel that they're relevant within those scopes of like politics adjacent, economy, business, finance adjacent. But the Karen Reed thing just happened to be something that, like, I love true crime, but I don't talk about it regularly because it seems so narrow. But when I discovered the case, number one, it interested me on its own, and number two, I believe it has an element of corruption involved in it. And I think that
element.
Yeah. So I think that like police corruption and politics and those things, they're all like intertwined. And it just happened to be something that I already felt I knew a lot about, which was true crime and true crime in general. So it just happened to feel like a natural fit. Plus it's a moment in time. It's not like I'm pivoting and doing all that content. Just to me, it seems so flagrant to not use my platform, as small or large as people may perceive it, to draw at the very least more attention to this. Just seemed like a waste. It's like if I saw something messed up happening, in my local community that I thought deserved some attention, that I could lend some credibility to it, even if my channel is not related to it at all. It's like, would you just pass that up? It's like, I would hope that somebody like Karen Reed, or somebody else would do that for me if they saw that happening to me, even if their channel didn't have that topic as something that was regular. I was willing to risk losing attention for it.
No, but I think that that's actually why so many people have jumped into this and the Blake and Justin story that aren't normally involved in celebrity or true crime, because it connects to so many people, people that feel just innocent, like an innocent person could be completely ruined
Yeah.
based on corruption. Like Karen Reed, in our judgment or in our eyes, was in the wrong place in the wrong time. She's not perfect, but she was in the wrong place in the wrong time and made the wrong call to Jen McCabe that morning,
Yeah.
honestly. And and then I think that Justin Baldoni was in, he made a wrong move by hiring Blake Lively into his movie and was really nice and got taken advantage of. These are two examples of people that their lives got completely torn apart and ruined by, like, it's like sliding doors,
Yeah. Well, like another thing that politics kind of lends itself to, even though a lot of people don't perceive it this way, is that like politics is ultimately one of the most influential aspects of how people are able to live. Like if you pick a specific set of topics, let's say it's like cars or baseball cards or sports or whatever, it doesn't really like affect it doesn't make people suffer or not suffer. And politics in and of itself has the ability to enrich people, lift people up, or also punish people or make people suffer. So to pay attention to politics in its own way is being empathetic for your fellow man, because you're concerned about how, women are treated in sports, or how this group is treated in this specific aspect, or who's allowed to do this or who's allowed to do that. So it's like the governance of people and empathy for large amounts of people. So caring and being concerned about politics is also caring about your local community, your kids, how they grow up, how they're influenced by the education system, whatever else, what they see on TV, the laws that will be applicable to them or potentially against them. So it's like empathy when it comes to true crime as it relates to the Karen Reed trial. You're watching something that you could put empathy on or have empathy for in real time. So it's like if politics is the punishment or an uplifting of a specific of large groups of people, this is a very targeted and very specific focused attention on either destroying a person or elevating that person. Because Karen Reed is going to be mostly broke by the end of this, no matter what, which is an injustice in and of itself. And if something seems so obvious to a rational bystander that has no dog in the fight, that just has a basic understanding of what's going on and is willing to invest more time into it. It's like, if you perceive a great injustice, even if it is unrelated to whatever you're doing on your daily basis, your human nature kicks in. Like, imagine if this was me. Would people care if such a thing happened to me? And if I don't do something to have at least give it my attention to care about her, then why would I ever expect anybody else to care about me? And that type of like give and take of energy to, let's call it the universe, I think is important. And to me, this one just seemed so blatant that it's like, if people didn't stand up for me and I was in this situation, we're screwed. So it's like, if we don't have the decency to at least pay attention to what is happening here, it's almost like, that's not my problem. Like, oh, you got hit by a car in the road in front of my house? Like, that's not my problem. I'm just not going to pay attention. It's like, well, that's what's going to happen to you when it comes for you to get the energy back that you didn't give out in this occasion. So that's how I feel about it.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I really like that take on it. It is, hashtag free Bobby Sauce.
Yeah.
That's the next movement.
Yeah, I agree.
That's actually really interesting. I agree. I really do. I think that that's why so many people, it's become like a movement.
Yes.
It really has become a movement, and it's taken over. Like Emily Baker does the live, viewing every day of the trial. She has over 50,000 people on her lives every day.
Yeah.
And then Law and Crime does their live. Court TV does their live. They each have 40,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands are live watching the court trial, and then more hundreds of thousands watch later. I mean, it's a huge, huge trial. It's taking a lot of people.
Well, this is one of the things that really like turned me on when I started like getting attention with my political takes, is like, when you look at a person like Turtle Boy, for example, in the documentary and the things that he does, you can't help but wonder to yourself, like, I think we grossly underestimate the power of a single human being. And it's like, if not for Turtle Boy, would there be the attention that happened as a result of this. If not for Turtle Boy, would there have been a documentary? If not for Turtle Boy, would those people have protested out in front? Would it have made as much news? Would a single human being's effort not have sprung up all of these things? And like, even me just talking about this theoretically late in the game with no direct connection to Massachusetts, I've had at least 100 people message me that say, I never heard about this case. I never paid attention to it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm watching it now. If I can create 100 and 100, if you're watching this, you're going to at least tell 3 people. So it's like, you just told 300 people that could ultimately tell 2 people down. You could have influenced 10,000 people to care about this case. And that 10,000 people could be the difference between a high-level, deep investigation into this case later after the dust settles that could ultimately get real justice for not only Karen, but for John. So it's like, if you could plant the littlest seed and have it be this massive impact, especially with these cameras, it's like, how could we not do that? How could we not contribute to the chatter? And it's like, I look at somebody like Turtle Boy, and it's like, I have a tremendous amount of respect for this man for what he was able to create. And it's like that level of respect and admiration that I have for people that do great things without being asked to do so and chime in often to their own detriment, like Turtle Boy. It's like the respect that you have for them, it's like unwavering. And it's like, if people could feel that way about me contributing to whatever political argument that I talk about during the day or this case or whatever, and sticking to it and pursuing it, it's like, if I could have even a little bit of that respect from a few people, it would make it all worth it. And I think that that's the whole point of why people get involved in politics like me, because it's like, it does feel empathetic and purpose driven and something that will matter and stand the test of time because you're helping to propel the spread of ideas, which ultimately I think is one of the most important and significant ways that human beings evolve. So it's like, this case, whether people disagree with it or not, all we're saying is look at it. And if I can help contribute to more people looking in this direction, I've done my job.
Yeah, no, I'm so with you. If you have a platform, even if you don't have a platform, even if you can just talk about things that are important to you at like soccer practice.
Yeah.
If you have a platform though, and you can speak about things that you're passionate about, it's so important. So I am, as you guys know, that's why I speak about things that are so unpopular sometimes. But if I'm passionate about it, it's 100% true, which is why I started talking about it. And a lot of people said that they didn't even know about it before I did too. So I love that you guys are talking about it too. Keep watching. We're going to be covering it, and watch Bobby over on Instagram at Take Naps. He covers it. He has a great take on it. And there's so many great content creators covering it. And thank you for helping me out today.
Yeah, you got it.
We went longer, but I didn't have to talk as much. So that was perfect.
Well, and the last thing that I'll include to follow up on that point is that you talking about Justin Baldoni is you doing the same thing that we're doing for Karen Reed. It's like, you're taking a guy that's, yes, rich, yes, famous, but you believe to be unfairly persecuted in the court of public opinion. And your natural instinct as a person that's already interested in this subset of information, of this topic, you feel compelled to add another voice to the situation that could ultimately propel more voices. So it's like, you're doing the exact same thing. So I don't want people to get it twisted like it has to be about politics or it has to be about true crime. You're doing the exact same thing for someone like Justin Baldoni, who from all, external sources appears to be a great man. So you're doing the same thing. So I hope that everybody understands that it applies to any and all subject matter spanning over any wide variety of things. And yes, thank you for having me back again.
Of course. And they see it, like people like Karen Reed and Justin Baldoni. I know it firsthand from people in Justin Baldoni's life. They're so appreciative of like people like creators and YouTubers and TikTokers that are taking their own time to speak for them, because sometimes they can't speak. I know Karen Reed did speak a lot, but Justin Baldoni doesn't speak for himself because intentionally, and we're doing it for him, and we're changing the case for him. So anyway, Bobby, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And let's go back to watch Hank Brennan poop his pants.
He's got a leaky balloon knot. He's the one with the leaky balloon knot.
I know. Proctor should have said it about him.
Yeah, I agree. I love Alessi so much. Like, at first I didn't really get it with Alessi, but like, this dude is the best. Like, I love these dudes. Like, I will love them forever. They're so
I want them to go
awesome.
on tour. I want to like go and watch them on stage.
I know.
Like forget musicians. I want to go watch lawyers on tour.
I hope Alessi makes like a cameo so I could like buy a video of him like yelling at me or something, you know? Like I want him to like
my God.
object. I want him to object with my opinion or something. Like I want him to send me a cameo and be like,
Wait,
so you
seriously?
mean? I love that.
Judge.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh
With
my God, when we got-
prejudice. I love it.
And when he goes, objection.
Yeah. That's the best.
Oh my God. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks,
No
guys.
problem.
You guys, see you tomorrow. Appreciate you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.